Hello guys, welcome back to SWS Boxing. Delighted to get Dan Garber on the channel as always, and we're predicting the Matchroom v Queensbury 5v5 card, plus Bivol as well, which is it's not on the 5v5 card, but it's a little bit of an extra fight that is good. Yeah. Should we start off with that Dimitri Bivol fight as it's not part of the 5v5? He's against Malik Zinad. It's 22-0 v 22-0.
Yeah,
For the IBO and WBA light heavyweight titles. Yeah, of course, Bivol, he was meant to be boxing after Better
Derby
Biev,
stuff.
but Better
Yeah.
Biev pulled out with an injury. I'm not sure what he injured. Do you know what he injured?
No, I'm not sure what he's done, to be honest with you. Obviously, I know he's injured and he's pulled out, but no, I haven't seen what he's actually done. Uh, so, no, I mean, it's a bit of well, the guy he's fighting, obviously, it's a massive step down to what he was supposed to be fighting, in it. I mean, I think he'll have his own way of him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, he's a bit of a unanimous decision king at the moment is Bivol. I mean, Lyndon Arthur. I thought, Lyndon done well to stay in there with him,
He
but
did.
there was only one answer, and Bivol not Bivol, Lyndon done well to, stick in there, but I thought Bivol it was one-way traffic with the Ramirez fight. I thought he'd done well, and Canelo, he beat Canelo. He's got a
Yeah,
few good wins, and he's looking good, and of course that's why he's in the position he's in. But of course, this Malik will be raring to go. I think he's number one in. He won an eliminator in his last fight. Back in it was in April. So quite recently, he fought actually is this Malik. He won on majority decision. But I can just see, Bivol being too sharp, too good. I can't, people saying this is maybe a banana skin. I mean, you can't look past anyone, but I think, Bivol should be too good for this guy. I don't see a stoppage. He might get him out there late, he might, be a bit angry, and since Better BF pulled out, he might be hungry to try and force a stoppage in this fight. But you don't tend to see Bivol's not really a massive puncher. He's more of a skillful fighter that uses his boxing IQ quite well. I think I've watched that Malik fight once, can't lie, so I'm not sure what to expect on him, but he is coming to be a banana skin for Bivol. But I think Bivol, and I'm sure you'll agree on this, Bivol unanimous decision is my prediction for this one.
yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, I think Bivol's the best in that division. To be honest with you, even I think he beats Berbiev as well.
But do you
I think
think
he
he would have
won.
won against
I do. Yeah,
Beterbiev?
I do. Yeah. I mean, think we, however you say it, Berbiev, obviously is a massive puncher, but I mean, he's there to be hit as well. He does take a few punches to give one. He's quite flat-footed, and the way Bivol's he's just an elite boxer. He's got everything. He can move, he can punch, he can box. His defense is good, and yeah, I think he beats Berbiev, to be honest with you. And I mean, Berbiev's not getting any younger either. What is it? He's 39 now.
38 or 39, I think.
I
Yeah,
think he's,
so
think he's 39. He had a long amateur career. It's wear and tear as well. You can get old overnight. And who what it was Yarde, wasn't it? I mean, Yarde gave him a great. I mean, I know Styles make fights, and Yarde's one of them who's going to be on you. They're going to stand in front of each other and trade punches. But he did have quite a bit of success, to be honest with you, and he did have him on odd occasion hurt quite a couple of times in that fight. And like I say, Bivol's just a level above them. And like I say, if I always say a good his boxing ability is a level above what Berbiev's boxing ability. That's just on pure boxing ability for me. But yeah, I think he beats him unanimously, to be honest. If they
yeah, I
do
mean, we
fight,
weren't predicting that fight, but I mean, if providing everything goes well,
well, he's
um,
got to get through this one. I mean, only thing with this one, obviously, he's not going to be getting paid the kind of money he was going to be getting paid now against Berbiev. So yeah,
yeah, you can see a unanimous decision in this. Are you saying unanimous in this fight, or are you saying maybe a stoppage in this one for
yeah.
Bivol?
I don't know much about the other guy, to be honest with you. But yeah, I can see him wanting to make a bit of a statement in this fight now, and maybe a stoppage win for him. Because when he boxed Lyndon Arthur, I mean, Lyndon Arthur's a class operator, don't get me wrong. But obviously, Bivol's elite. You know, he's pound for pound one at best. And I thought that he could have stopped Lyndon in that fight, to be honest with you. He took his foot off the gas a little bit. And don't get on, Lyndon did great in that fight as well. You know, go them 12 rounds with him. But I think he could have got him out of there if he'd stepped it up a little bit. He didn't really good get out second gear really in that fight. We were just going through the motions with him really.
Yeah. What? So are you going to say Bivol late stoppage then?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, next up, another light heavyweight fight. This is for the WBC silver light heavyweight title between Willie Hutchinson, 17-1. He beat Martin Hoban at your call. March 22nd. Not gonna, go fully into detail what happened that night, but you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
and Craig the Spider Richards, 18-3 with one draw. I think this is a fight, people look at the main four fights on the 5v5 card, but I think this is, I think it's the less one people were excited for, but I'm quite excited for this as well as
Yeah, it's a bit of an hard one to pick, this one, because Willie's been a bit more active. Obviously Craig's not been as active, but he's mixed in top class. Willie's he has looked good recently as well, and he's stopping guys, and he's a big puncher as well.
I mean, he keeps his shots quite. He's good at what he does is he does a jab, then throws that backhand, and he's a strong puncher. Sometimes he has a high guard. Is Hutchinson ever since he lost to that Lennox Clark at super middleweight for the British? He's come back stronger and he's rebuilt at light heavy. And I think maybe there was a bit of a weight issue for Hutchinson, but he's rebuilt on that. And ever since that fight, getting stopped, it's going to be a tough pill to swallow. Your first defeat, especially for that famous Lonsdale belt. But he's rebuilt on that, and he's won this silver title against now I've put myself on the spot. Why did I do that? But I can't remember who he won it against, but his last fight was Martin Hoban, and he did look pretty sharp in that fight. I know Craig Richards is quite a lot better than Hoban, but I still think that's quite a good win for him, second round.
It looks like he's carried his power up with him as well. He looks good at this weight division.
And he looks stronger at light heavy than he did at super middle, and I think he's found the division he's stronger in, and I think he looks more suited to light heavyweight, because he was always quite a big super middle. But I think he's getting better each fight, Hutchinson, and I was quite impressed with him in his last fight, to be fair. On the other hand, Craig Richards, if you look at who he's fought, his 3 defeats have only come to, Buatsi, Bivol. It says it on its own, and he lost to Frank Bungloni as well, but that was on a few weeks' notice. I had Craig on a few weeks ago actually to talk about the fight. He seems quite confident. I think if you look at the people, not Hutchinson, Richards has been in there. Some of his big wins. Hitters, Crichton, former English champion. Former British champion. He's gone through the route, the domestic scene, and built his way sort of up, and he's got he's won like a WBA international or something. He's got a few good wins, Of course, when he lost to Bivol, he had decent success. I wouldn't say he got outclassed. He didn't get outclassed.
No,
he had little bits of success in that fight.
He did quite well in that fight. I think the scorecards as well were a lot. They were quite close as well. I think on one of the scorecards in that fight. I remember him doing quite well in it.
Yeah, the scorecards. Sorry to interrupt. The scorecards were 114, 115, 1,513 and 118, 110, which was too wide. I don't think
Yeah.
I said this to Craig as well. I don't think he won the fight, but I thought it was quite competitive. There was always
Well,
Bivol
yeah.
was always like, I always thought Bivol was ahead, but I thought it was close. And I think maybe that 115, maybe 112 sort of thing, maybe to Bivol. But yeah, I thought Bivol, you know, was the deserved winner, but I felt Richards had a great shift in that fight. He won against Mareka Mateja. Got a 6th-round TKO. Lost to Buatsi again, in my opinion, a very competitive fight. I mean, if everything goes well here, I would like to see him maybe run it back with Buatsi in the future. But of course, he's focusing on the Hutchinson fight, but I'm sure he want to run that back. Crichton, again, Crichton's sort of becoming a bit of a gatekeeper at that weight, but
Yes.
still,
Yeah.
Lyndon Arthur had a bit of a struggle with that Crichton, and you know Callum Simpson.
Yeah. 10 rounds with Carl Simpson. Yeah.
Yeah, and Callum Simpson's a massive puncher, as you and I both know. And yeah, and Craig stopped Crichton as well, and Crichton's very durable and very tough.
He is.
Doesn't get
I think.
stopped often.
I think out of the
So that's a
fight,
big win
this
for
is
him.
this is probably one of the hardest fights to pick, to be honest with you, because he's been there and he's done it, and he's been in with the best. Obviously, he's not beat the best, but he's been competitive with the best. Obviously, Willie's a bit younger. He hasn't boxed at that level, but he's got that confidence about him as Willie Hutchinson now. Do you know, he's on a pretty good run. He's been active. Craig's not been as active. This is a one. I really don't know who to pick. You probably met
I mean,
Craig.
I might try and let you go first because you know
Yeah.
whoever I pick, you might copy. You know what I mean? I'm joking.
I think you've got to make Craig. I'd say on paper you've got to make him a favourite for the fight.
Yeah.
But for me, I think Willie's an underdog, but I think he's going to spring an upset. So I'm going to go Willie Hutchinson in this.
Yeah, I
because
think, you know,
he's active, he's confident, he's punching hard at this weight. He's got that youth as well. Do you know, like I say, Craig's been there, he's done it, and he's boxed the elite, and he's being competitive with them as well. But he's not being active.
I think it'll be, if Craig does lose the fight, I think it'll be a long road back for him. I'm not sure if he can come back from another defeat at that sort of level. But Willie, I think, you know, he more of a chance of coming back. I think Willie should try and get this stoppage and try, you know, rough Craig up. Go to the body sort of thing, mix his shots up well. I think Craig needs to be on the back foot, try get his jab going, get his quick shots off, because sometimes Richards is quite quick with his hands and get his combo. I think, you know, be wise. I know that they're both Willie's, they're both trying to get into each other's head this week, bit of mind games. But I think if Richards is smart about this one, he outboxes Hutchinson, and I think he's shown that he can do it before. I think he is an underrated puncher, but I think it's more of his timing that people were like, when he gets the knockouts, it's more his timing.
Yeah.
But I think I can just see Richards. I think, you know, Willie will have decent success, and I think people will be like, yeah, he'll have decent success, but I think, you know, Willie will start strong in the first 3, and people would think he's getting to Craig, and Craig can't get his jab. But I think once Craig gets going, I think it'll be hard for Hutchinson to get him out of his rhythm.
There were a fight that he beat a Mexican who beat Italma, Moses Italma's brother. He handed him his first defeat. I don't know if you remember that fight about a year ago.
Who was that?
So Willie Bock, I think he was an Argentinian. He stopped Italma. You know, Moses Italma's brother.
Madeira or somebody.
Yeah. And
Argentinian, yeah.
Been at Olympics and that. He'd been about as a pro, been in with some
that's
really
a decent
kids.
win for Hutchinson,
Yeah.
but I think
And
the caliber and Richards wins are better than Hutchinson.
It just that because that guy was tough and durable, and the way he took him out were real. I thought were impressive, to be honest with you. And I think he stopped him in 4 rounds or something like that.
Yeah. What round do you say in Hutchinson this time? Because I'm saying Craig, unanimous decision.
Well, yeah, the longer the fight got, it's just that inactivity for Richard. That's the thing. I can see it being a point. I'm going to go points, Hutchinson.
So you're going points, Willie, and I'm going points, Craig.
Yeah.
Unanimous or
This
split, or are you just going to say points? Fair enough.
just points. I mean, this is the hardest one to pick for me.
Is it? I mean,
Yeah.
this is the fight I'm moving on to now, which I think is equally as tough. I thought that was quite, I wouldn't say easy, but I thought I'm quite confident with this
Yeah.
one. But this one, I've been debating all week, you know, ever since it got announced, is Raymond Ford 15-0 with 1 draw
Yeah.
against Nick Ball, 19 wins with 1 draw. WBA featherweight title is on the line here. Let's just, I mean, to start off with, Nick Ball got utterly robbed in his last fight on the AJ and Ngannou card for the WBC title. I thought he got absolutely robbed in that fight.
Now, you know, when you watch it, and yeah, he dropped him, but I'm gonna be honest. I thought that kid who was boxing outboxed him for the first few rounds. I know he got dropped, and Nick Ball come into that fight late, but I didn't give him any of them early rounds, to be honest with you. And I don't think
no, tell a lie. The other guy started quick in that fight with him, but I thought Nick Ball grew into the fight and
he did, and he took
that
over.
guy
He
started
took over
tiring. And sometimes, you know, when Nick Ball was, sorry to interrupt, when Nick Ball was fighting the taller guys, he's always like the smaller fighter. He's there trying to, sometimes he was jumping, you know, up.
He was.
And I think, you know, if you keep doing that, eventually when you get hit with a big hitter like Ford is, then if you jump in, you're eventually going to get caught. Whether that's a little jab, you know.
Yeah.
You'll get knocked down because you'll be off balance if you keep jumping what he does. I think if I was Nick Ball, do your body work. You're good on the inside.
Yeah, he's small, isn't it? Yeah, he's small and compact. But it's like I never read too much into punch stats, mate. But I know there were people saying, you know, Nick Ball got robbed and stuff like that. But when I was watching the fight, what were the other guy's name again who were boxing for the world title?
Was it? Hang on, Ray Vargas. That was it. That was
it. Vargas. He'd been out at ring, I think, for a year as well himself. But in that fight, when they started, I think I gave him the first 5 rounds. But if you look at the punch stats as well, like I say, I never read too much into them overall punch stats. But if you look at like power shots landed and round by round stats, he outlanded Nick Ball in 7 of the rounds. So it wasn't the biggest robbery for me that people were making out. It was. Don't get me wrong, Nick. There's a big argument Nick Ball should have got the win, but this fight that he's having now, I think it's an harder fight for him.
Yeah, you know, in my opinion, I agree with you, mate.
This kid's got a good amateur background in America as well, so I'm going for him to beat Nick Ball.
I mean, I think exactly. I think Nick's tight and compact, but I think Ray Ford.
Yeah.
I just think Ray Ford beats him. I think it's a difficult one, and as much as, you know, as a Brit, I want the Brit to do it. Nick Ball. I'm quite a big fan of Nick Ball, but I just think Ford does it. I think Ford just. It's hard to explain, but I just think Ford. What I've seen of Ford, I'm quite impressed with. I think
with Nick Ball, he's got a great engine on him. Obviously, he's tough.
But he might tire out, mind you, with Ford's movement.
He can punch, but he can be outboxed as well. You know, he's got one of them styles where he's coming in. He wants to get at it straight. He's a million miles an hour. He wants to have a tear up, you know. And
I think if I was Nick Ball, try and make it uncomfortable as possible from him from the get-go. Don't give him space to breathe, sort of thing.
That's what he's got to do. I mean, he's a smaller man. I think he's only 5'3" or 5'4" or something like that.
He's like, I'm telling you, mate. I think I think I might even be the same size as him.
Yeah, and like he's a lot taller, and I just think he's, like I say, he's got that good amateur pedigree.
Do you think he should push down a super bantam? Do you think he'd be dangerous there?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's if because he's compact as well. If he can make the weight, then yeah, go down. But obviously, he's staying at this weight for a reason. Obviously, he's highly ranked at this weight, and he thinks he can. I mean, I can't see him going any higher. He's too small. But yeah, if he could drop down, then yeah, and if he could keep that power as well, it'd be a nightmare. Well, it's a nightmare now for anyone, to be honest.
And
But
it wouldn't surprise me if Bull takes him out early, but I think Ford will survive the early storm, and eventually I think Nick Bull will tire out in the later rounds. He's got a great engine, but I think Ford's got the sort of style that will make him miss. And, you know, when you miss a shot, it takes a lot out of you when you're putting 100% effort into those shots. When you miss a shot, some fans don't realise that even when you miss a few shots, it takes quite a bit out of you when you're going, especially 100 miles an hour like Nick Bull does. And sometimes he overloads, but I think his gas tank will run out this time, and I think Ford might force a late stoppage the back end of the fight. I would say, if I have to stick around on it, I would say round 10 to Ray Ford.
Yeah, I'm gonna go points, Ray Ford.
Yeah, I think it could go to points, and I think it might be one of those fights where it could go either way. But I think maybe at the minute I'm thinking, you know, Ford late stoppage. Yeah, 3 fights to go, I think. Yeah, 3 fights to go that we haven't predicted. Next up, yeah, let's talk about the heavyweights. Daniel Dubois, 20-2. Philip Hrgovic, 17-0. It's 12 rounds. I believe, you know, the winner here gets an IBF title fight against AJ, I believe, the winner here.
Well, they've said they've said this were going to be for the vacant title, haven't they? But Uzyk's put an exemption in today, asking to keep the IBF belt. So when he boxes Fury in December, he wants all the belts on the line. So I don't know if this is going to be for an interim title, but the plan was for this to be for the vacant IBF, and then the winner fight AJ at Wembley, maybe.
Well, I still think the winner will fight AJ, whether even if that's for a belt. The winner fights AJ.
Well, I think Hrgovic wins this fight, but he's been mandatory now for quite a while, so he's going to want his title shot. And I know money talks, but either way, he's going to get a massive payday fighting either of them two, I suppose. And how is he going to want to get that massive payday and fight for the title, you know, after fighting Dubois? I think he beats Dubois, to be honest.
I mean, I think people, you know, Philip Hrgovic is a bit of a strange fighter, how to, you know, say his style is. I would say, you know, against his last fight, he beat Mark Demori, which he should not have been fighting. No offense to Mark Demori, because fair play, you know, you got in there with him. But he should have never took that fight, to be fair to him. There was bigger fights out there for Hrgovic. I think a quick knockout win, you know, and then onto this big fight. But
I think that Dubois, he's got everything really, you know. He's big, he can punch. He's got that experience of being in with some big names. I think the only thing that lets Dubois down is the mental aspect of the game. I don't think
when the going gets tough, people.
I don't think he's mentally strong. No, I don't give him any discredit for the Joyce fight. I mean, if he had a fractured orbital socket or whatever it was, he had a fractured orbital socket, and he had every right to go down and take a knee, and, you know.
That was a good fight, that one, wasn't it?
It was. He were head on the cards as well, I think. I mean, he was, but I didn't think he were winning the fight. I thought Joyce were winning. But yeah, it was a good competitive fight. And he is only young as well. People forget how young he is. He was competitive with Usyk, but he got knocked out by a jab. And I think after that, what happened there when he knocked him down, you know, the raw, like uproar, what it low, what it not low.
Do you think it was low?
No. Well, no, I don't. Sorry, yeah, I thought it was a bit of a low blow, yeah. But as soon as you went down, the referee said straight away, low blow. Now, if he'd have started counting, you can guarantee Usyk could have got up. But he's not stupid, he's experienced. As soon as he said it's a low blow, Usyk took the time to have a little breather, which anyone would have done. So he played the game, really, and he played it perfectly. You know, he got up and then he did the business. He probably won every round up until that point, really. But I think people were saying, what did he want a way out in that fight? But I'm not going to say that about anybody at all, because obviously it's Usyk's the best in the division by far. But I just think that's the only thing that lets Dubois down, is the mental side of it. I just don't think he's mentally strong. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope he wins on Saturday night. I really do. But I've got to go with Ergovic. Even though I thought when he fought Zhang, he looked there was something went right with him that night. He looked really off, and you could argue.
In my opinion, I thought Zhang won that fight.
Yeah.
Against him, I thought, against Mark Demori, I think Demori even had little bits of success to the body in that fight at times.
If he turns up, he's got a ramrod jab. He's got a great backhand.
He's well slow though, isn't he, with his feet, Hrgovic?
He is, yeah. But like I said, Dubois there to be hit as well. Dubois will be stood in front of him as well. I mean, you look at that fight against the cruiserweight, the South African kid, Lerner, I think it was. Lorena, yeah. I mean, he said he had a knee injury, but I don't know what it was. Something went right with him that night. We're going down from shots that weren't hitting him. He got up and he got the job done, though. So you've got to give him credit for that.
Yeah, but and then since then he's come on. Usyk, it was a decent performance. Jesse got beat, decent performance. It was an all right, and then he beat Miller, and I thought he absolutely battered Miller. To be fair, and I think when I think Hrgovic feet is just they slow, and he fights at a slow pace, and I think he's just going to suit Daniel Dubois.
He makes you fight at a pace he wants to fight at, and that's the thing. He's just, like I say, he's got that grounding. He's an Olympic medalist. Every guy who has him in training camp always speaks really highly of him as well. And I don't think he's going to let it slip on Saturday, to be honest with you. I fancy him to beat Dubois.
No, I can just, and I'm glad that we disagree with a few, because I mean, we might become Saturday night, we might both look a bit stupid, and we might, but it is what it is. We're just making predictions of fights. But I'm saying Daniel Dubois via a body shot inside 6 rounds. I just think he'll be stronger on the inside, and I think Hrgovic's feet does slow, and I think Dubois, it's a perfect style for Dubois to beat.
If you're a betting man, that's probably the bet that I'd put my money on the underdog, because you're going to get good odds on that. But I still think I'm going to pick Hrgovic.
On points or
late, yeah, or maybe a late stoppage. I think he could bust him up, to be honest with you, just with that jab alone.
But do you think Hrgovic will be in control quite easily?
I think, yeah. I wouldn't say it's going to be easy, because like Dubois, when he lets his hands go, he's a good finisher as well once he gets a man hurt. But I think it'll be nip and I think it could be close, but I just think the experience he's got is going to take over. It's Hrgovic, and like I say, just that experience will show as well.
Next fight, Hamza Shiraz, Austin Ammo Williams, 12 rounds. The WBC silver again is on the line, middleweight. Number one the winner here gets the WBC world title shot. Yeah,
I think I'd go Shiraz. Well, this is another one. I mean, that Shiraz is a bit on cold for me when I watch it. I haven't really seen much of the other guy, but when he's on it, he does really look the part to Shiraz. And I mean, he trains in America and stuff. He's dedicated. He takes it serious. He's massive for the weight as well. Really is. He's huge. But yeah, I think on a stage like this, it's his time to shine now. So I think Shiraz by stoppage.
Yeah, I'm saying that as well. I think, but they're both there to be hit as well. I think sometimes they both leave their chins out, but I think Hamza, nice and sharp. He's got a very, very good jab on him. Has Shiraz? He's dropped quite a few fighters with his jab, actually. He dropped Liam Williams. Yes, Liam Williams is he's not with it. He's not as he used to be.
He's not the fighter he was, is Williams. But yeah, you've got to go with Shearer, I think.
Yeah,
By like by stoppage, it looks like he's massive for the weight. He can punch.
I mean, River Wilson Bent, who I know he's fought both of them. You know, Shiraz beat him in two, and Ammo got to him. But River was boxing quite well in that fight, and I think there's rooms in that sort of fight where Hamza can capitalize. He's stronger, I think, and I can just see, you know, Austin getting caught with a nice looping overhand that catches him cold
Yeah,
in a sort of like a round eight sort of thing. I can just see Shiraz. It'll be a good fight, this one, but I can see a Shiraz knockout.
100%. Yeah, I agree with you on this one.
He's got a I think Shiraz has got one of the best jabs in the middleweight division at the minute.
Oh yeah, he does look the part. He'll go through the divisions as well. You know, super middleweight, light heavyweight. He's got that frame as well. He can carry it. But yeah, he does look the part. So I think he'll rise to it on Saturday night, and you know he will shine as well.
Yes. So at the minute, I've got 2-2, and then I
2-2.
think you've got hang on, let me do this one.
So we've agreed on. I think we've agreed on two. You've agreed on two, and we've got two different of opinions, haven't we?
I think you've got you've got 2-2 as well, because you went Hutchinson and Shiraz, and then
Yeah.
you went Hergovich and Ford. I went Ford and Ford and Richards, and you went
Willie Hutchinson and the guy to beat Ball, which we've agreed on. Who
oh
was the
yeah.
first one? Yeah,
So
who was the first?
we both got 2-2, but a bit different.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the main event. Left hand v right hand is the Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder, 43 wins, 3 defeats with 1 draw, 42 wins by KO. Zili or Zili Zhang, Big Bang, 26-2 with 1 draw, 12 rounds. It won't go the 12 rounds, but if
No.
it does,
If it goes 12 rounds, you've got to say Zhang. But I think Wilder knocks him out. I don't think he turned up at all against Parker. I don't know what was wrong with him. He didn't let his hands go.
oh
But
no, I
Zhang,
think both of them didn't really show up in that Parker fight, even though Zhang, you know, put him down.
yeah,
I expect him, you know, Zhang to rush him, you know, put it on him when he's
yeah.
been knocked down. But I
I,
thought Parker, you know, his movement he boxed as smart as he could in both of those fights. He sort of took the attack. I know it's not about Parker, but you know, he fought both of them in their last fight, so you can bring him up.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I thought Parker fought 2 different fights against them. He was on the back foot against Zhang, and then Parker took it to Wilder in that he threw fire with fire basically. But yeah, it's a difficult one in my opinion, because there's weaknesses
I think that this is the one I've
in
been more
both.
confident about. I mean, don't get me. Wilder's. I've never been sold on him, to be honest with you. But I've never been sold on Zhang. People forget it. We're only a couple of year ago that Jerry Forrest, who got him a split draw with him, gave him a boxing lesson, and he got robbed in that fight. Now, Zhang's breakout win were against Joe Joyce, but I've always said styles make fights. Joe Joyce is a disaster waiting to happen. You know, you can only drop a team cam so many times before you put a dent in it. And to fight like he does, it's always going to come unstuck at some point. You cannot, at heavyweight, fight with your chin like that. And it showed against Zhang. He got exposed. But the thing with Zhang, he's a big, big man. He's there to be hit as well. You know, Wilder's a tall, rangy guy. Wilder knows if he loses this fight, it's over. It's over for both of them, you could argue. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
Zhang's 41. They're both coming off losses to Parker. I think Wilder knows it really is over. But Wilder also knows there's massive fights, because everybody wants to see Wilder still fight somebody like Joshua, just because, you know, they're both knockout artists, really. And he knows what's there if he does win. And he has to knock him out. He ain't going to outbox him. But if he lets his hands go, Zhang's there to be here. I think he knocks Zhang out, to be honest with you. And like I say, he didn't. People say as the Fury fight's taking it out of him. Possibly, you could argue it's took it out of Fury, but I think he knows he has to turn up this Saturday. Zhang's maybe grown old overnight. I don't know. He's 41. You know, he didn't look. There was some. His engine wasn't there. I don't think with Parker.
Do you
Even when
think,
he dropped in,
Wilder would prefer, if Zhang comes out like he did against Parker, that fight sort of suits Wilder, if Zhang's slow on his feet.
Yeah, because he is slow on his feet, really. I mean, he's 21 stone or something, He's carrying a lot of weight, and to carry that for 12 rounds, it's hard work as well. But I really do think Wilder stops him. I can just see him landing a shot on Zhang, and it puts him away, and I can see him doing it inside 5 rounds.
Yeah, well, I hope you're right. But I think, Zhang, if Zhang puts it on him early doors, I think Wilder needs to use the ring to his advantage. I think Zhang walks in straight lines.
He
I think
does.
Wilder needs to move around the ring.
I think Fury
showed
what loads. I mean, he's got out of trouble so many. Ortiz were outboxing him. He got out of trouble. Fury showed what you need, how the bigger man needs to fight against him. And rough him up, but you also leave yourself vulnerable as well. And I just think Zhang's not the quickest of guys, and
he stands square on. I think
he does. He's a big target to hit. He's a big target to hit. And Wilder knows if he has to let his hands go now. If he does let his hands go, I do think he stops him.
It might be the first meaningful shot, but I think if Wilder survives that early onslaught, and if he moves, maybe he might lose the opening rounds, and there might be a bit quiet and make it.
He's gonna 100%.
You make it ugly and not many punches thrown, but move. You don't need to go rushing in straight away from the opening bell, because you'll get caught straight away from Zhang.
Yeah, of course you will.
You've got to be patient.
I can see him. Yeah, he's gonna like a bit. He's always going to be behind against any guy who's got any kind of boxing ability at that level. I can see him being behind in the fight, but I think once if he does let it, it's just which Wilder turns up, and I think he is going to turn up on Saturday night. If he lets his hands go, I think he stops him.
He knows it's his last chance, and both
of them, yeah. So that's what makes it probably an interesting fight. I can see Zhang just, like you say, winning the fight, but I can see him getting tagged as well, because he's there to be hit. I mean, Parker showed that when he boxed him. So there's no two ways about it. He's there to be hit. And, it's a southpaw against an orthodox. What's the best punch? I'm a southpaw. The best punch to use against a southpaw is a straight right hand, the backhand. That's Wilder's best punch.
Yeah, and I think, Zhang stands square. He stands square on, and I think eventually, he'll just, it'll be square on. He might take a few, some might bounce off the chin, but you can't be taking them all the time. No. I think eventually a perfect one will land on him, and it will lay him out. I think one man definitely gets knocked out cold.
Yeah, 100%. I agree there.
It's a toss of the coin, in my opinion, but I'm saying
Wilder.
I'm saying Wilder round 7 as well.
Okay, so what's that we've agreed on
then? Yeah, we've agreed on. Well, we've agreed on.
I've gone Hutchinson for first fight. You went Richardson.
Yeah.
For the second fight,
we agreed on Bivol.
Yeah, we agreed on Bivol. Yeah.
We agreed on Ford and Hamza, but the 2 fights we disagreed on was Dubois, Hrgovic, and Richards Hutchinson.
Yeah, they're the 2 fights we've disagreed on. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're both saying 3-2 to Matchroom. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to start.
Should be.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good night. Yeah. I mean, I hope I'm wrong about Dubois, and I'll probably have a little bet on Dubois to win because of the odds on the fight. He's an underdog in that fight, and it's heavyweight boxing, so what can happen? But I just think Hrgovic is just probably just a little bit, maybe too much for him. And don't get me wrong, I haven't been sold on Hrgovic totally. I mean, I think it was Dempsey, the Australian guy, Dempsey McQueen or McKean or whatever. It's McKean. Yeah, he stopped him in the last round. He controlled the fight. And the boy's got a puncher's chance, but like I say, I just don't know if he's meant. It's just that mental aspect for the boy. I think that lets him down a little bit. And the boy, he's still only young, but he's been matched so hard as well. Do you know what I mean in his career? So you can't fault him here for taking this.
100%. And from me, Dan, thank you for
Yeah,
your time and enjoy the show on Saturday, mate. It should be a
well
good
done. I'll speak to you before probably anyway. But yeah, thanks for having us.
anytime, Dan. Thank you for your time.
Cheers.
Bye.
Speak to you, bud. Bye.